Hey, what's up everyone? It's the Pepper Ranger, and today I'm going to be doing a little follow-up video to my last video, which was how to germinate seeds using the paper towel method. So I'm going to show you the way I do seedlings using the double cup method. It was made popular by Kangstar, but it's been a method that has been used by gardeners for a really long time. It's a way to bottom water and feed your plants. So the first thing you'll need is soil. I use Nature's Care potting soil that I just get at Home Depot. Pretty cheap stuff. I used it last year and had a little bit of an issue with fungus gnats, but this year so far I have not had any issues. I'm not exactly sure what's different because it's the same bag, but knock on wood, no issues so far.
But yeah, so you'll need your soil. I already pre-moistened it, so it's ready to go, but it's usually pretty dry out of the bag, so you'll definitely need to wet it down. Don't get it too wet, just nice and moist, because you're gonna add water in once you transplant or add seeds. Second thing, I guess not second, but one of the other things you'll need is solo cups, if you're gonna do it the way I do it. So, got the idea from Kangstar, square bottom solo cup, and a round bottom solo cup, so that when you put the square into the round, there's about an inch gap. And you do that because that way your roots, when you're feeding it the hydroponic nutrients, can stick out the bottom and soak up those nutrients. You can also bottom water straight from the get-go. Super simple. I think most people have solo cups. Square bottom is the way to go for me. But you could have two round bottom cups and just have, you know, a rock or something to separate the two cups so where they're not, you know, right on top of each other, because you want to be able to have a little bit of a reservoir. So I'm going to show you how I go about cutting those.
So what you're going to want to do is just take your utility knife or X-Acto knife and just take off the corners of each of your cups. You can do this on the round cups as well. There's obviously no corners in the round cups, but just take off a little portion in about 4 spots of the bottom of the cup. You want them to be big enough for the roots to pass through, and when you transplant to the final home, big enough so that you can take them out. But yeah, that's all there is to it.
Once you're done with that, you're good to go. So you're gonna fill this with the soil. Some other supplies you'll need, obviously, your seedlings or your seeds that have sprouted. I use just a plastic fork to get my seedlings out, and then I usually use a toothpick for getting my sprouted seeds out. I also use a glove when I'm handling the soil, just because it's easy to keep my hands clean. I have a newborn, and if I need to get to him real quick when my wife's not around, I don't have to worry about, you know, having to go wash my hands or whatever. I can just take it off and I'm good to go. You're also gonna need a spray bottle, not 100% necessary, but I find it easiest to, you know, to top off the seedlings or sprouts with a little bit of water. And here is the can I'm going to be using for the Pepper in a Can challenge. Actually not sure if this one's gonna be a challenge one or just gonna be a fun one to use, but I'm gonna fill that one with dirt. Super easy. You just take a piece of sandpaper, sand off just the top, and it pops right off. It takes about 5 minutes. A little bit of elbow grease, but super easy, and you just drill holes in the bottom. So let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and fill the first cup with soil. So I'm gonna first do a couple of the seed sprouts. So you can go ahead and fill it up all the way to the top. You don't have to, squish it, pat it down like crazy, but you want kind of all to settle in there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just stick it right in that second cup. I reuse most of my cups, so I already have a label on there from last year. I'm gonna take that off and relabel it. But yeah, I'm gonna first do my Peruvian white bullet habaneros that I started in paper towel last week. I'm actually gonna take this glove off now. So, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see there. Oh yeah, you should be able to. So, there are the sprouts. And there's a couple on this side as well. I'm probably not gonna focus, but that's what they look like after a few days to a week to a month. It really all depends on the variety. Just make a few holes. You don't want to go too far down, but you also don't want to do too shallow, especially if your sprouts aren't too far along. You don't want to get a helmet head, which is where the seed shell or the casing remains on the leaves and prohibits them from coming out. So you stick them in there, not too far. That one was a little bit too far. But maybe like 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And just cover them up. I usually sprout more than I need, or at least try to start more than I need, just because you never know what your seed viability and germination rates are going to be. So I have about 4 starts here. I'm only going to plant 3, and I'm really only going to keep 1. So yeah, you just cover them up. You can use the fork again. Don't need to pat those down, and then you just give them a nice spray with water. And then I just use the same Ziploc bag that I use to germinate them in with paper towel. Stick that over, and then it'll only take a few days for them to pop out and their leaves to show. So you can go ahead and put this right in the grow tent or under the grow light. So that way when they do come out, they can get that light right away. So that's how you transplant your seed sprouts into your double cup. All right, so what you're gonna do is, that's how I start the seeds, paper towel, transplant to double cup. They get like this, you need to separate them. So it's super simple. Seedlings are pretty resilient, so you don't have to be too gentle with them. But as you can see, I already have, let's see, roots coming out the bottom. So that means time to transplant. So loosen up the soil as much as you can. Kind of separate them with the fork. And then I just shake, kind of move the soil around. This little guy, I'm not gonna keep. Yeah, this is my Sugar Rush Peach. I don't even know where I put that. Sugar Rush Peach crossed with a Bitjalokia. But yeah, just keep shaking out. they'll come. So yeah, what you're left with is one little seedling. I can hold it, and another. So we're gonna go ahead and just leave that one right there. We're gonna fill up our cup with dirt. And let's fill it up all the way. And then go ahead and just make a nice big hole. Get that pixie. We want to go pretty much all the way to the bottom, just because those roots are long and they want to find water. So then you just drop it in there and then kind of hold it with one hand while you just fill it in with the other. And this is where, when you're transplanting, if you have some leggy plants, you can just go ahead and bury them pretty much all the way to those first set of leaves, because they're just going to continue to grow up. And then just give them a nice spray down. This is usually the last time I top water. From now on, I just fill that bottom cup, the reservoir cup, with water, and the roots are gonna go down. By not top watering and letting the top dry, it enables the roots to seek that water. And if you have water in the bottom of the cup, even if there's just a little bit and there's moisture down there, it's gonna gravitate towards that moisture. Do one more. So this is the only method I've ever used, and it's worked for me. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm sure there are probably better, easier methods out there. But for me, I'm just going with what I know, and it does work for me well. I use General Hydroponics Flora series, so it's a 3-part series of hydroponic solutions. You can cater it to general growth, aggressive growth, bloom. Kind of just play around with it as much as you want. I'll make a video on how I go about mixing it. But for today, now you know how to transplant your seedlings into your double cups. Have a nice day. Bye.